Hey guys, it's Jason here, Headfirst. Having fun today with this VP4, which I have on loan from Andrew at Independent Music here in Australia. Hey Andrew, thanks for the loan, man. Having some fun with this. What I want to demonstrate today is how you can use a device like this, virtual pedal board, in conjunction with an amp like the Alta, which is a MIDI switching amp. So I've got kind of two scenarios set up here. One is a 4-cable method style setup where I have got a stomp box mode here. So I've got a compressor, a phaser, an overdrive and a delay. And so the compressor, the phaser and the overdrive are in front of the amp, right before the front end. And the delay is in the loop. And what I can do here is I also have, with the VP4, you've got 4 scenes. So my scenes are a clean, a crunch, a drive, and a lead. And so because I'm using the MIDI out function on the VP4, I can switch my head as well, which is really how this amp was designed to be used, right? It's designed to be used with a multi-effects or a MIDI switcher, or a multi-effects unit that has MIDI on it. So as I scroll through my 4 scenes here, my Alta is moving between different modes as well. So I'm using channel 1 here in 2 different scenarios. So like basically channel 1 with just the bright 1 on, which is more, it's a plexi style clean, channel 1 on the Alta. And this with the bright 1 on, it's just a little bit of sparkle on the top end, a bit like a kind of JTM 45 style vibe. You can see on the VP4 for this scene, I've got it set up with a delay and a compressor just for... And I can move out of here and move it into stomp box mode so I can bring that delay in and out and the compressor in and out. Let's go to the next scene. So my next scene is a crunch mode. I'm using channel 1 still on the Alta, but this brings in bright number 2. So you can see if I change here, I'm going bright 1 here, bright 2. Bright 2 is way more aggressive, bright cap, like an old, super lead style thing. So instantly this channel will start to crunch up. If I compare it to scene 1, we've still got our phaser on, so let me just turn that off for a second. Go back to scene mode, scene 1. That's how channel 1, when I really kind of thought about how I designed channel 1 in this amp, I want to be able to flick between those 2 modes, right? They're kind of the clean plexi and then really the overdriven plexi that we know and love. Moving to scene 3, I've got, this is kind of like a, more modern Marshall. I'd still call it a kind of a rhythm sound though. It's not really the lead sound. I've got the lead sound on scene 4. So for the amp, I've got it in channel 2 and I'm in modern mode and I don't have any brights on. I've got the gain here round about 230. I guess it's about 7.5, somewhere around there. Going to stomp box mode, I can bring my overdrive here. So I've got a TS9 just set up pretty much with, you know, the level up and the drive down like you'd normally do it. Cool thing about the VP4 is you could move this into kind of like the tuner mode. I've got it set up so it doesn't mute. But here's your tap tempo, right? So my delay block is set with the tempo here. So if I go to like a nice long tempo, here we go. So it'll respond if I could go really long here. Well, quick. More of a slapback style there. Okay, and finally, let's look at the lead, and I'm switching here to channel 3. So I'm going back to my scene mode here, and I'm going to move to scene 4, and this is channel 3 on the Alta, and I'm in modern mode. And with channel 3, I've just got a little bit of a volume boost coming here from the amplifier. You could do it with on the VP4 as well with the scene setup. All the tones for this first setup, I'm going to take you through kind of 2 ways that I would use this. I am just miking this cabinet here. Okay, so this is one of my Headfirst 4x12s, and I'm miking that bottom speaker there, which is a V30, and we're going straight to Logic. The second scenario, I'll show you how to set it up a different way, not 4-cable method, but a way that I actually use this amp live. Okay, let's have a listen to what this is, and this is my lead patch. This is the lead sound that I use, how I use this amplifier live. And from here, of course, if I go to stomp mode, I can bring that TS9 over the top of it. So personally, I don't play with tons and tons of gain, but occasionally you want that extra boost in front, so that's there if you want it. So that's a classic kind of 4-cable method, how you'd use the VP4 with a head like the Alta, use the MIDI to switch the channels as you change scenes. We're going to do a different setup now, and I'll show you another way that I use a pedal like this. In fact, this is how I actually use this amplifier live, as I said. So here we go. All right, guys, we're back with the alternate setup. This is actually, as I said, this is how I'm setting up my live rig these days. So I'm still kind of old school. I have to have a tube amp and a cab on stage. It's just, for me, there's just nothing replaces that interaction that you get playing electric guitar with an amplifier as one thing, right? However, I really dig the convenience and the capability of these modern digital devices. So pairing my Alta with a device like the VP4, perfect combination. As I said, I can change my MIDI switching on the amp using the VP4. And in this setup here, it's not 4-cable method. What I'm actually doing, I'm running this at the moment, I'm running the guitar straight into the front of the amp. And in my live rig, I will have pedals and stuff like that in front, so I can put, you know, phases and flanges and other things into the front end of the amp. But I'm just taking a line out. I'm still running the cabinet here in the room, and this is how I set it up live as well. I'm taking a line out off the head, which I'm using the Fractal X load to do. The load in this is actually bypassed for this video because I'm actually going straight through the X load and into the cabinet, but I'm taking a line out of here and I'm taking the line out into the input of the VP4, where I'm using a new capability that's in beta 3 of the firmware for the Fractal VP4. And I want to say thanks to Leon Todd for posting his video on this just a few days ago, right? And I was like, oh, cool, I'm going to use that for this demo. So I'm using an IR block in the VP4 and then sending a stereo signal out of the VP4 to front of house, right? So this is how I set my live rig up. I have a dry cabinet on stage. There's no post effects in here. I'm not using the effects loop on the amp either. But I don't need effects with my cab on stage, right? As I said, it's really just for me to get some kind of feedback and interaction and, you know, get the jeans flapping a little bit, right? I don't want delay and all that in there. I don't need it because I'm getting all of that in my post effects, which is what I've got set up here. So post the IR block, I've got some pitch shifter, all stereo reverb, stereo delay, all set up in parallel routing. That's feeding front of house, or, you know, for this video, it's feeding my audio interface. So what you're going to hear, or what you've just heard, is the stereo feed from the VP4. When I play live, that stereo output from my guitar is also feeding my in-ear monitors, right, which are in stereo. So I have, what I'm hearing is all the stereo imaging in my ears, and bleeding through that is a bit of the, you know, the dry cab that's kind of coming from the sound on stage. So in a way, it's kind of like a wet rig, which, you know, hey, no one ever said there's anything wrong with that. So let me go through just some of the tones that I've set up here. So I've got the 4 scenes again. The amp set up exactly the same switching wise. So I have the clean sound, and I've got some pitch shifts for a kind of like a chorusy style effect here, and just some of that reverb. So that's perfect for a kind of clean sound for me. I can go to scene 2, which is my crunch sound. And again, I've just got some reverb here, right? I've brought the pitch shifter off. So I use this for a kind of crunchy rhythm sound. Scene 3 moves me to channel 2 in modern mode on the Alta, and I brought in some pitch shift on this to give me a nice kind of wideish distorted rhythm sound. right, so moving to scene 4, which is obviously my lead sound. We're back on channel 3 here in modern mode. This is where I brought the delay in. It's dual delay. I've got quarter note panned on one side, dotted eighth on the other, so it obviously responds to whatever tap tempo I'll put in. And this is pretty much how I set up my lead sound live, and it sounds like this. All right, for me, it's the perfect combination of the analog world with digital tech to give me, you know, the best of both worlds, I think. Perfect setup. I would recommend trying this, right? You can do this style of setup with pretty much any of the modern modelers and digital stuff that's out there. And yeah, it's just, I've been doing it for about a year now in the band, and it's just killer. I want to say thanks to Andrew from Independent Music for loaning me the VP4 to try out. I appreciate it, man. I'll get this back to you ASAP. And if you're in Australia and you are searching for any of the Fractal gear, make sure you check out Independent Music. Andrew and the team there have got all the Fractal stuff and a bunch of other great products. I'll put a link in the video description for Independent Music. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will catch you next time.